Rhys, big occasion here at Cougar Park this afternoon, a big crowd and a big Keighley Cougars win.
Yeah, I think it was a great spectacle. I think it was really, really pleasing to see how many fans came down here, and I thought there was a really great energy about the place. Even before, like regards to the product, I thought it was really good. It was a really good experience to be a part of, and ultimately, I think we rode that a little bit there, and we got into the game really, really early and played with some energy early, and I just think that caused a little bit of disruption there for Bradford, and ultimately our boys took advantage of that.
When you said you rode it, obviously, is that something you spoke about pre-match? You know, there's a big crowd here and what it means to the people of Keighley.
Yeah, like we had Gary Morby come in, and we had two debutants today, and Jimmy Kynos and Joe Gibbons. So we had Gary Morby come in and present those jerseys to them, and then had a little bit of a chat about what it means to the town and have that connection during bit. And I thought the boys did really well. I think you can sometimes get it wrong. I think sometimes you can get a bit too up for it, and sometimes you can miss the kicker. And I thought we had a good week this week at training, and I thought we hit the sweet spot.
On the performance itself, it was real nip and tuck for that first 20-25 minutes, real arm wrestle, attritional stuff, but you just seemed to hit a real purple patch, and you hit Bradford with 4 tries in 11 minutes, and from that point they never recovered.
Yeah, well, I think, like we've spoken about, we've been in that a fair bit this year. We haven't got the results, and that's no doubt. We haven't got the results, but we've been there in those sorts of games. I think it was 4-all at Halifax for a huge chunk of the game, and then we got a yellow card, and for the second half it was 6-all. For the first 17 minutes against Featherstone, we were in that at 0-0, and then obviously they ran away with it. And London was even though the score didn't reflect it, it was right there at London as well. So we've been in those sort of battles, arm wrestles as you would call them, quite a lot this year. We just lack the detail of execution to take advantage of that in key moments. And we had a discussion before the game about team selection. I thought we'd go a little bit more senior, bringing in Jake Webster and people like that. And I thought theoretically that just might help in those key moments that we might be able to execute. And sure enough, we did today.
When you mention about taking advantage, you certainly took advantage of a couple of Bradford errors to score tries on the back of those.
Yeah, and that's something that I felt we've been speaking about a lot, about the way we can feed our offensive energy into our defence, and you can create that cycle. And I felt we did that. Like we've been speaking about how to attack and not measuring how successful your attack is by your ability to score points. And I felt we did that early. We certainly built a lot of pressure early. We had some good early ball. Although we didn't score, we didn't get points there. That fed energy into our defence, and then they really created that cycle there. And I thought that was really, really good. And obviously that put pressure on Bradford, which obviously probably culminated in some of those errors.
Second half, you probably realised Mark's going to give Bradford the air dryer treatment. Second half, Bradford did put you under immense pressure, and as you quite rightly said, you were using that energy to keep Bradford out. I think it was 4 sets of 6. You defended, like you say, sometimes defence is the best form of attack.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something that we've spoken about a lot, is if you get stuck, and it happened with us a couple of times in the year, and we've really identified that if you want to keep carrying the ball through your forwards, those guys also have to turn around and defend it, and you can also create the opposite cycle. It becomes very, very difficult to get out your own end, so you carry the footy more, and then they're attacking your line more, so you then defend more, so you're further in your own half, and then you can create that negative cycle. So, like I said, I've really felt that they got the balance right today. They moved the footy really, really well when they needed to, which obviously gives the middles a bit of a rest where it needed to. Created on the edge, and obviously I thought we kicked well and controlled where Bradford had the footy, and all in all, it was a good performance.
You've touched on it a little bit. Mark's touched on that. He felt Bradford lacked that leadership. You've mentioned Jake Webster. You throw in Luke Gale, Dane Chisholm. There's a lot of experience there.
Yeah, definitely, and I think probably 2 guys that you didn't mention that you could probably mention, well, 3 I suppose. I thought Tommy Doyle led the team really well today. Obviously he was the captain this week, but 2 guys I thought started very, very well for us, in Brendan Sandy and Mark Ioane. I think they had a great front rowers knock. I thought all the middles have been pretty good for the last few weeks, really. But that's testament to the way the boys have been training. They've really upped the ante in training over the last few weeks. They can see the performances of there, even though we might not be getting the results. It hasn't been far off. I mean, we felt we were in it last week against Halifax with just a couple of small decisions that cost us. But we knew we had this performance in us. But we're not getting carried away. We understand that we did a lot of things right, and we were quite lucky on our day, and that could have been a lot closer than it was. But ultimately, you can only play what's in front of you, and we understand that we're going to keep working. It's a long journey. We're in championship for the first time, so we're right in the middle of what's going to be a difficult block of fixtures. We have obviously Challenge Cup this week now in North Wales, then we've got York away and Toulouse at home. So it's a tricky fixture list.
What does this win do, Rhys? What does it do for the whole club? Because obviously, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this fixture prior to kick-off, and a lot of people, well, the eyeballs will be wide open now, seeing 34-6, what on earth's going on there? You know, Keighley the real deal, top 6 challengers.
Yeah, so I wouldn't go that far. I certainly think for me, it doesn't necessarily from a performance point of view. Like, I know that this performance is in there. Like, I've seen it in glimpses before, and theoretically the way we play should produce these sorts of performances. I certainly think for some people it's probably proof. And I think certainly for our guys, just understanding that they are capable of knitting together these performances. Because the way I want the team to play and the way I set the team up is not easy to play. I make no bones about that. But if you can execute, you can look at performances like this. And that's something that they understood last year, and we really managed to do it at League One level last year. And it's just something we've really struggled to do at a championship level this year. So it was good to see that they managed to stitch that together into a performance. So I think for certainly for our players, they understand, they've seen it, and they've worked on it behind the scenes. So I'm sure they'll take a little bit of confidence from seeing it executed against a top team. There's no doubt Bradford Bulls are a top team. They're a top 4 team. There is a reason why they've won so many games. I think they're on 8 points already. They've beaten Toulouse. They've been right there against Featherstone. Probably the only one that they'll probably disappoint in was the York game. They're a top team, no doubt, with good quality. So we knew we had to be on, and I was just really happy that the boys took that confidence and managed to execute. And I'm sure people around will understand what we're trying to do here and understand that Rome wasn't built in a day, and we're going to be a little bit inconsistent at first, but it's a long season.
Just a little bit on Jake Webster's run. That was probably the loudest cheer of the afternoon, even louder than the full-time hooter going.
Yeah, I think he was great today. But I think it was ironic. I actually saw a line break a little bit like that when I first come over at Hull Car by a fella called Scott Morrell, and they looked about as fast as each other there, and they both got run down. But yeah, no, Jake had a great game. Jake really had a great game. It was a good opportunity for him to get some reps out there. I just felt we needed that there on that left edge defensively, and he still got it. You know, and he still got it, even though he's been coaching, and the professionalism that he showed in his ability to turn from coaching for the last 6 months straight into a performance against, again, what is a top quality team was testament to the way he lives and the way he approaches the game.
3 consecutive wins at home now. Is that something you've spoken about? We want to make Cougar Park a fortress?
In short, no. Like, it's not something we speak about. We always speak about process and taking each game and each rep as it comes and take every play individually. But certainly we understand this is a difficult place to come. So, I mean, it's our home, so we understand. You know, but we know other teams struggle to come here, so there might be a slight advantage in that, no doubt. But ultimately, like, we need to win these games. You know, we need to be in these games, and we've got to win these ones, and we need to try and take some of that form away, no doubt.
Everyone come through unscathed?
I think so. We had a couple of people come off with it with a couple of little tweaks. Obviously, Brad Walker come off with the HIA there, didn't he? Didn't go back on. Dane Chisholm come off just with a bit of caution there towards the end of the game. But yeah, for the most part, I think, touch wood, most people came through okay.
And just finally, a big Challenge Cup game here against North Wales Crusaders on Saturday, I do believe, Rhys. How do you plan to approach that? Yeah,
obviously we want to have a crack at that. I think there's a great opportunity this year to experience different things, and that's something that I'm big on as a coach is the ability to experience different things and play different teams and play different coaches and be at different venues, and certainly as the playing group as well. Like, we haven't been here before. Like, we haven't done this. We haven't experienced this. So really excited to have a crack at that. And like I said, we're going to have a tough fixture this week. It's a Saturday turnaround, so it's a little bit shorter turnaround as well. So it'll be a big challenge here, but no, looking forward to get back out there in front of the home crowd again.
Cheers, Rhys. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.